pro-Trump mob. I think we live. I got that live button over here. You got that live button over there, Coach Smith?
Yeah, man. I think
You
we
got
may
that,
be
Dr.
live
Johnson?
already.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the perspectives of Black men. So, Dr. Johnson, I was watching your video today. I want to stamp this day, this time, 8:30 p.m. What is it, January 6th? We're each coming to you live from our perspective place of living. And there was a pro-Trump mob that breaks into the U.S. Capitol today. If you guys have not seen images, photos, video, go check it out. I was working all day. I had no idea that this happened. I heard some rumblings like, oh, something is going on in the world. I'm like, whatever. When I got home and watched the clips, I was disgusted, angered, upset. I'm surprised it got to this level. I am personally surprised that this was able to actually happen today, and the lack of consequences for those people. Yes, one person unfortunately did lose their life today. However, the level of stupidity and just craziness that was going on, I would have expected a lot more to have happened, and not a lot, in my personal opinion, was done to hold these people accountable for their actions and what they did today. I would love to get you guys' perspective so we can dive deep. We know that this is not just a Trump issue. This is a American systemic issue. And I want to hear your guys' perspective on it. And anyone who is live with us, please feel free to jump in, um, throw some comments in. Divine is going to be, Coach Smith is going to be looking through the comment section. We want to make this as interactive as possible because instead of looking outward for answers, we want to look inward. So that's what we're here for tonight. What's up, people?
So you're asking me? It's on me. The president of the United States is a clear and present danger to the country. The current president, he's a narcissistic sociopath. He has a mental illness, along with being he has a delayed maturity. He exists in a form of arrested development. He's never been chastened or disciplined ever. He's been given. When you give unto a narcissist, you only fuel their narcissism. He won the election by way of cheating, but it didn't matter because he won. And with a narcissist, all you need is to win and get attention. So all of this stuff is cooking. The entire Republican Party is also a part of this. They are also responsible for this. I don't care what they try to say now. I don't care.
They're definitely responsible for this.
If they want to clean it up now, they should have spanked his ass. That impeachment wasn't, he should have got his ass whipped. That's a spanking. That's discipline. He should have been disciplined, but he wasn't. He was emboldened. He is a criminal. He is an animal. He invited this to the White House. To the nation's capital. He invited it. He invited criminal activity. He radicalizes people on Twitter. I actually at Twitter. I did an at Twitter tweet, and I'm happy they locked his account. I'm not saying it's because of me, but I did question. I said, do you understand that you're aiding and abetting sedition at this very moment? You know you can be held responsible. And it was like 20 minutes later he got locked down. So I don't know who pulled that trigger. I'm not saying that, 'cause I'm not anybody in the world, but I kept
tonight that happened because Dr. Johnson put that tweet out there.
I wished, but I added them a few times. Like, you need to suspend that Twitter. I said, this is how people radicalize. This is how people radicalize terrorists. Let's get the conversation right. These white people were white domestic terrorists at the Capitol. You had a sprinklets of Negroes, but you have those people who are Mr. and Mrs. Bojangles, and they're going to do that dance because of the proximity to power, and they don't like themselves, and self-hate kind of runs through the course of their consciousness. So,
or just greed.
But so they're really in some consequences.
It's not just a white thing. It's anyone there participating in that thing. Like,
right.
Yeah, but let me highlight that it was a white. Let me just make sure I underscore this.
Oh, we know that.
If you look at those people, you can probably count the Negroes on one or two hands or less, and there were thousands of white folks. So this is a white thing. This insurrection, this coup attempt, this anti-American, anti-patriotic attempt to overturn an election that already happened was a white thing. This was a I was conditioned in an America that told me that I'm entitled to everything. And because of my privilege of whiteness, that you should do what I say because I said it. I'm entitled to the concept of hegemony. I own this. I run this. This is mine. And if I don't get it, I get a chance to stomp around like a petulant baby who has never been disciplined until I get my way. And then they ran into a roadblock of, yeah, no, we're going to certify the election anyway. And they could not hold it. They couldn't hold it together because why? Their narcissist, cult of personality, Cheeto and dickhead in chief, he perpetuated them to act in this manner because they're just like him, but on a different level. They don't have the money or access that he has. Or so this is a white American shit show in the making. This is it's historical in that this is what has been created. This is what has been perpetuated in American culture, and it's unfortunate that we're here, but it's expected. And I, for one, I'm not disappointed or embarrassed. I'm kind of sitting back like, I've been talking about this for 20 plus years. Them storming the Capitol, that's none of my business. That's for the police to make sure that, and for the law enforcement to really ask themselves, these are the same people that said Blue Lives Matter until it offended their whiteness and their privilege and their entitlement and
flags
fragility.
all through there. Blue Lives Matter flags storming the freaking Capitol.
So and running up on police officers. So if Blue Lives mattered that much, you wouldn't have disrespected them in the way that you do. It only matters when they're protecting your whiteness, your whitehood, your safety. When white folks in American society, especially the racist white folks in American society, are used to using the police as their own personal security detail, and that's when Blue Lives matter so much. When they want Black people to be silenced. Now let's do the juxtaposition here. Black people get tear gassed and rubber bullets when they're protesting the unarmed death of Black people. White folks get ushered out of the Capitol with kid gloves when they actually bring arms into the Capitol and actually let off shots and bullets and storm it with the violence and breaking shit. That's the two Americas that we live in. White violence gets a kid gloves. Black unarmed protest gets bullets and tear gas and death and arrests. That's so when we talk about white privilege, that's it. If people have ever had a problem understanding what white privilege was, if they ever had a problem understanding what white entitlement was, just go ahead and turn on your news station and watch on replay what those white folks did today. This was an embarrassment for America, who perpetuates the lie to the rest of the world that we live in a democracy that has peaceful transfers of power. That we perpetuate this fantasy of America. Now the rest of the world is getting a chance to see who the hell we really are. White folks, and this is what bothers me about Republican versus Democrats. This is just as much a part of the Democrats' problem as it is white Republicans. Why do I say that? Because for years, white Democrats have allowed for this kind of behavior to fester in their party and in the other party. Because why? Because they're only fighting over power. Who has it this time around? And perpetuating laws and policies that maintains their dollars. Remember, the majority of our Congress are millionaires, and they act in the interest of themselves and their pockets. Right. So they've allowed for this behavior to be perpetuated for years. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. They're trying to act like this is just a Republican ploy. Yeah, they're dirty and overtly ridiculous. But why did you let it fester for so long? Why has this behavior been allowed for so long? That's what I'm saying. There's a lot to unpack here.
No, it's
a lot to unpack here.
It's been going on for way too long, and today is beyond privilege. Like, looking at those videos today,
right now,
it is like laughable for me, like how crazy that is when we talk about the country basically declaring war on the Black Panther Party. However, people come there with bad intentions. Their intentions were not good. They came there with bad intentions. And you don't crack down. And you don't crack down. You look like a vagina. You look like a big, big vagina right now.
Like, but you know what? I wouldn't even say they look like a vagina, because vaginas are strong and they give birth to babies, right? and then they go back to. So I wouldn't even disrespect the vagina.
What did I come back? Whoa! What happened? What did I miss?
You can't leave, Coach Smith.
What did I miss? Oh man! So I think. So I got some comments here. Let me read a couple of comments. From H2O Cleanse. The police opened the barriers and let them in. Yep. And then Mariana says, holding hands and taking selfies.
Yep. Yeah, well,
police
in
holding hands
2006,
with these people,
in
holding hands with
2000,
these people.
2006, the FBI released a report that that law enforcement has been infiltrated by white supremacists. I mean, these people have the same agendas. I mean, at the end of the day, what's striking about the ignorance on the Republican side is that, first of all, no matter who sits.
Hold on, Dr. Johnson. This one's good. Let me give you this one, and then you can go into that. So from Latasha Miller, I would like to know how something like this could happen in our capital, and no one is using the two words domestic terrorism.
Oh, because they're white. That's just simple. I mean, we struggle calling a thing a thing. Remember what how long it took them to use the words domestic terrorism at Charlottesville? And by the way, this is Charlottesville Part 2. I don't want to leave that out. That's the connection there. This is white people going crazy, and we're trying. And some folks are struggling to call a thing, but a lot of folks are getting on point. The bottom line is this. We have for years perpetuated this, right? White supremacy is a part of America's life's blood. It is a part of America. It's a part. If America was truly about the thing that they lie about all the time, the rhetoric of equality and justice and all the other nonsensical bullshit, then Black people would have already gotten their reparations, right? Black people would have already, America would have already paid for the stain of slavery, for Jim Crow, for mass incarceration, for prison industrial complex, for redlining, for Tuskegee experiment, for all the other experiments that they've done on us. Like, they would have already fallen back and said, God, dog, we've been devils for a long time here. We got to fix this. What we've done, that hasn't been a thing here. We're not interested in calling a thing. We're not interested in doing well and doing right by people in this country.
Yeah, that's
not
it.
by Black people.
That's
not
it.
By Black people.
That's just
maintenance.
Their thought process. That's
the maintenance
process. That's what they think.
Maintenance of hegemony, maintenance of the social structure that maintains their superiority, and everybody else fighting for the scraps. Meanwhile, we're telling people, I mean, just think about the rhetoric that we pass along. Just work hard and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. If that was the case, then Black people would be the wealthiest people in this country because we literally built the country, the finances of this country, the financial foundation.
I was just having that conversation
it's a lie.
with someone. Yeah,
everything's
I was
a lie.
Having that conversation with someone
about chickens have come home to roost.
It's like my own existence. I'm thinking all this time I needed to just, get a good job, be able to purchase a home, like be able to take care of my family. I thought that it was as simple as that. And then some of those things started to happen, and I started to realize that people still treated other people like crap, no matter what. Like, it's always going to be there. It's not a Divine thing or an Aaron thing or a Kellen thing. It's a world thing. It's a country thing. And there's a certain amount of people in this country who, it's okay with them that they don't care about anybody else's existence about their own, clearly. And it's a large faction of it as well. And this is the government and Donald Trump and everything about law, except for the actual written parts of it. It's leading up to them thinking 2 steps ahead, 5 steps ahead. They're not thinking about what Donald Trump is doing right now. At least they weren't until he did it. But they're actually thinking about their next play, their next move, how they're going to create oppression and suppression and how to keep us at bay. And so they're already thinking about how to do that. Like,
well, let's think about this whole thing that started today. This is already in the works. This is already in the plan. He already invited them. It was already known. It was known for months, and they didn't plan for it. And the sergeant at arms said that they were caught off guard. The question becomes, how were you caught off guard? How exactly are you caught off guard? Why? Because that white skin said they'll be all right. Now, if this was Black people planned a month ago, said 30,000 Black people were going to descend upon the Capitol, the whole entire National Guard would have been on the front steps of the Capitol, like they were for Black Lives Matter protests, because our skin is an offense. Our skin is violence. It's an offense to whiteness. Here you go, Bryson.
Or Donald Trump, or Donald Trump set it all up and made sure the security was lax in the Capitol so that they would have access to the Capitol, because he actually.
I don't put that by him either.
Yeah, well, we haven't been paying attention. All these trips he's taking to talk to Kim Jong-un and to Putin, like we listening to we're looking at the smoke and mirrors. He's actually learning how to be a dictator from those two. That's what he was doing. He was in school.
He doesn't learn. He doesn't really. But see, the problem with him is he's not bright. He's a political animal. All he does is he has a kind of a reptilian adaptability where he'll save his own skin. I think he would literally kill one of his children in order to save himself, because that's a true narcissist. So yes, he is learning. He learns those things. I think Putin is the one that's really whispering the most in his ear, because he has so many undocumented, unrecorded conversations with him. But he's not. The institutions here is corrupt as the Republican Party has been, and as corrupt as the American government is. It's still that people are so interested in their own power that they wouldn't allow him to go as far as he wanted to go. But at the end of the day, this whole situation, it really harkens back to who this country truly is and what problems truly have been festering here. I can't stand when they keep saying the country's divided. No, there's people who believe and understand the pluralism that is existing and happening here. And then there are white folks who want to hold on to an America where black people knew their place and other people of color knew their place.
That's all that it is about. Like, because I don't understand what else they could be complaining about. Like, what else can you actually be upset at?
And here's a real issue. It doesn't matter who sits in the seat of power. White supremacy is going to reign. What's problematic with these folks is they're so undereducated that they're frustrated that their representative and in the symbolism of a Donald Trump will no longer he will no longer be the face of their white supremacy. So they're frustrated that they no longer have an overt clarion, carnival barker out front. They don't realize that nothing will change in America, not as of right now. They will still have the place that they have. They still have a white skin superiority here, right? They're not superior to anyone, but they have a social superiority here. That's that privilege, right? And they don't understand that it doesn't matter who sits in that seat, they're still going to have it. The idea is, however, that because Biden is a Democrat, that he represents pluralism. So he represents the blacks, the browns, the gays, the whoever fits in that little basket of pluralism, and they don't like that because they want their white Americanness to reflect what Americana is. That's why they always say, this is my America. Yeah, but then you leave out the America that your ancestors raped, stole, pillaged, and enslaved and genocided for.
Yeah, like I said, those to me, if the people who actually got in, and some of those people have really bad intentions. Again, zip ties on them, spray, protective gear on them, potentially guns as well. Like, those people went in with like real bad intentions today, and some of those people left and they were walked out with like holding hands with the police. Like that to me is just such a bad message, because that's the message that certain people see as, okay, they went in, they did that, and it didn't seem too bad to me. Like, I'm next. I'm down to go to the next one. If that's how far you can get, like, come on, like, what's that image? Like, that's the worst part about today for me, because I would have never in a million years imagined that there would be just some random white guy in the freaking Capitol building with a Confederate flag.
Yeah,
just like,
I don't,
because he broke a window to get in there. Like, really? What?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
and by the way,
he tried to assassinate the governor of Michigan.
Like, you can get that
was
close?
only a few months ago. It was only a few months ago.
Protest? How can you get that close out of protest? Like, that makes no sense.
Somebody
that wasn't a protest. That wasn't a protest. That was a straight up attack. That was an attack.
Yeah, that was an attack. That was an act of war, guys. Yeah. It was an act of war.
Treason.
It's an act of war.
But it makes all the sense.
Back in the day, you got your head chopped off. Your head chopped off.
The president came out of the White House, came into the street, and instructed them to march Pennsylvania Avenue with all of Congress in the Capitol. Like, that actually happened today. Like, that happened. That's a fact.
But I think what we do is sometimes we underestimate the power and the influence of white supremacist ideology, and we say, well, shouldn't have happened, or I can't believe. Nothing surprises me under the sun when it comes to white supremacist ideology.
I'm not surprised.
It's important. It's always important to understand how illogical and how there is no bottom. If you watched and analyzed the Trump presidency, and it's even before the Trump presidency, we go back to Reagan, we can go before Reagan. I can go down the line of all of these deplorable presidents that we have had. These are racist. 13 of them were slaveholders. I mean, we can go. Trump ain't the worst. He's just the dumbest and the most.
That's a fact.
He's kind of like
Congress just
he's
resumed.
the uncultured. He's the uncultured.
They're getting this done tonight.
Uneducated. He's the imbecile. He can't hide his stupidity. So, but he's not, I used to call him a cancer, but I can't even say that because the cancer is in the life's blood of American society. He's just an outgrowth of it. He's a tumor, right? He is an outgrowth of the cancer that already exists.
That's a good word. He's a tumor. He's a growing badness. Badness.
And he needs to be cut out, and then the body of America needs to be irradiated. It needs to be chemoed. It needs to be thoroughly cleaned. Like the problem, but the problem is America kind of thrives off this cancer, and that's the issue. This cancer is not necessarily killing America; it's slowly killing it, but it thrives. There's a thriving nature of maintaining the stratification that exists. So here you have this cancer in America, this cancer that already exists, that's white supremacist ideology, and then you have this tumor of Trump, right? That has the body really acting in strange ways, right? The body of America starts to reveal itself that it has cancer, right? That's what he did, right? He revealed today was a revelatory that you are sick. God damn, you are sick, right? You had all those tumors that came out and that needed to be lopped off, right? Lasered off. But the problem is, no matter how many of them you laser off these tumors, it's in the blood. America has a dirty ass cancerous blood.
So now the 140 or so Republican House representatives and the 10 plus senators, they no longer want to protest the election. So they're
only errand in the first place.
So they're only reassembling the Congress so that they can just ratify and vote on the Electoral College and name Biden and Harris as the president and vice president.
That's just crazy. So that just shows that it's all a political game, and then that political game got realer than they expected, and now we're just going to back off and like act like we didn't really put this to happen.
This is an act of war. The government people have to go to jail. Like I'm talking about, like this has to be something that is, the 25th Amendment, like that should be enacted tonight.
It won't.
Tonight, yo.
It won't. They don't have that kind of courage. Mike Pence.
I don't know. I think Donald Trump went a lot further than they wanted him to go. At least most of them anyway.
No, they don't have a bottom. I don't know about that. You're giving these people a little too many.
I find it hard to believe that all of them know who don't have a bottom though.
But Divine, he said, grab women by the vagina. You can do that when you have money. They'll let you do it. He supported sexual assault. He caged children. He colluded to don't get me started on the laundry list of the crazy to undermine our elections with the foreign.
I understand. I agree with you. I understand what you're saying. I agree with you.
Back. As long they ain't doing nothing. They're gonna let him do him until the 20th. They want to maintain because they have an allegiance to his.
I think it changed.
His cult.
I would hope. I am hopeful that has changed with this act of war.
I am not.
People should be going to jail. People should be going to federal prison right now.
Let me ask you a question. If the majority of white folks in America, if the majority of white folks in America understand the history of our rape, torture, murder, theft, and enslavement, and still are not moved with empathy to have reparations, to treat us a little more kindly and equitably in this society, why do you think this little protest that these ragtag lunatics did today, white supremacists did today, is going to change the hearts of these sociopaths?
No, it's not. These people are acting like it didn't happen. They're posting pictures of their families today. They're posting like their regular day. Like they're just trying to act like this like didn't occur. Like just completely turning a blind eye. But you want to post stuff with like Black Lives Matters and like, oh, look at the looting, look at the freaking fires, look at this burning, these animals, this, that, and the third.
Aftermath.
And they
Yep.
are quiet today.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear not one white person say anything about looting or damage of property ever again,
Ever.
about any protest, about anything. Don't be sentimental about anything. And the reason why I'm saying it directly like this, don't be twisted out in the internet world saying, I can't believe you're saying white people. Because see, we've been so conditioned that in America, if you mention white people,
feel comfortable.
all of a sudden we make them uncomfortable. And that's racist to say white people, but people could pathologize blackness in the black community all day long. So here's what I'm going to say. When the Black Lives Matter protests were happening all over Fox News, white people were talking about property, not black rights. They were talking about looting, not the death of black unarmed people. And so now I do not want to discuss ever, because it's inevitable that another white cop is going to shoot an unarmed black person. It happens every day. When we're out in the street, I don't want to hear any white person mention anything about property, because you know what? Looting a Target and storming the nation's capital are slightly different.
Yeah.
You own that.
These images on CNN right now that I'm looking at are insane.
And that's a part of this, by the way. Those images, they should not be putting those images up.
I don't agree with them either.
Yeah, they should not have those images up. Yeah, they should not make those. They should not give those guys any more publicity than they've already taken today. And that's the other problem. The media is just as bad. They are terrible. They stay right in the middle of all the nonsense because it sells and makes them money.
Of course, if it bleeds, they're loving this. The media is loving that we're like at war with ourselves like this, because they're the real ones who win. They get to tell the story.
Some of them actually said some meaningful stuff today, actually calling these people thugs, mobs, somebody terrorists. Like, I like that they're using the right words, because before they struggle to call white people that. They're quick to call a brown or black person that. But I heard a lot of mob talk, thug talk. I heard a lot of that criminal terrorist talk. I heard that today. Now they could go further. I mean, but you know what? Years ago, this should have been condemned. I think the media, if the media is going to
step into the cop inside the Capitol.
And my comments about the media is an overall comment. It's not about what they're doing right now. It's what they normally do. They incite things. Well, the media is good for doing that.
That's their job.
It's not always right, though. Just because it's their job, everything they do isn't right.
I agree, but they're gonna keep doing their job. That's for sure.
That's fine. That's fine.
They're getting paid to do this, but this is crazy. Like, these images are actually crazy. Like, how do you get inside and then you're still stepping to a freaking officer and nothing happens to you? Like, you don't get cracked, you don't get put down.
Blue Lives Matter.
That's crazy.
According to them, Blue Lives Matter.
That's crazy. But you can die at a regular stop sign. You can get pulled over for a light being out in your car, and you cannot go home to see your kids.
Word. For just walking around from the street to the driver's side of your car, get shot 7 times, paralyzed in front of your kids.
Yep.
Just walking around.
Because the officer was in fear of his life, as he wrote in his report. That's the universal get out of jail free card for white officers killing or shooting unarmed black people. I was in fear of my life. So just think about that. Officers in the Capitol building who were being stepped to by a mob weren't in fear of their life enough to shoot someone, but they were in fear of their life of a man who had no weapon going to his car in front of his kids. This is the world that we live in. But again, we're circling wagons here because we believe somehow, some of us believe that there's some form of equality here. This is an white American societal problem. And this is something that's squarely in their laps. There is no equality. There's no equity here. There's
Yeah.
no, there's none.
Showed that. Today showed that if you were ever on the fence or ever thought that like are things bad, are things as bad as people say, today was the end of that.
Right. That's
That.
a fact. It's a fact.
Clearly saw that.
Yes. Yes. So William Cook said the media is the main reason the world views Black people as savages. It's why the world has been desensitized to the abuses Black people face in the US.
Mm.
I don't know if it's the main reason, but I think it's
media.
one of the reasons.
It's definitely one of the reasons. So
Yeah,
read
it's
the media is
movies.
Yeah.
It's such a combo. It's such a combo because it's such a combo. It's music, it's movies, it's just the whole depiction, right? Like Black people feel like in order to actually make it, I have to rap. I mean, we were good, like, but it had to be gangster rap. Like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I don't
Roles are even offered to people, like, like that's just insane. You can only play a drug dealer, like, oh, this person had to make it big because they played a drug dealer.
Right. There wasn't a lot of equity
big.
in where minorities had equal opportunity anywhere, but especially in acting, I can see that. I can see what you're saying. That makes sense.
But
that definitely makes sense.
But there's a source to that. And the dehumanization process already had taken place decades, centuries ago. Once you dehumanize Black people enough to commoditize them, the commoditization of Blackness becomes an institutionalized thing here in America, that's when Black people that's when it was over. So once you institute slavery in such a way that Black people could be, you can inspect them like you're going to pick out produce, to buy and sell them like a product or a good. That's when the situation becomes very, very easy to demean them as human beings. And then from henceforth, moving forward, you get a chance to treat them. I mean, we fall right into place, right? You don't value us enough in your consciousness because you've been conditioned by your family and your society to not value us enough to then offer us the drug dealer role or the lowest of the low role. It's not just the media. I think media is imitating life, right? And then our life imitates the art. And then, I think the media just plays out what white American consciousness has been conditioned to do.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't show, but they don't show everything equally.
No, they don't. This Black
you have
doctor,
to perpetuate.
Black
you have
scientist,
to maintain.
Yeah, but that's still in the media that they're not showing things equally. Like the same crimes that go on in my community go on in Belmore, or
media is a tool.
You know what I mean? So like the media is being used to manipulate people, dude. Like 100% to manipulate people's minds.
It's a powerful tool.
And who owns it? Because it all goes back to the money. Follow the money. Who owns it?
Yeah, exactly.
Who owns it? Follow the money.
The newspaper has a CEO.
And if you don't play what I want you to, I'm gonna fire you. By the way, so I don't have to tell you that for you to know that.
Somebody owns the Washington Post. Someone owns the New York Times. Like that's a person.
Follow the money. Follow the money, man. It's not right, dude. It's not.
Yeah, it's insane. Today showed again the underbelly, not even the underbelly, just like what America is and has been like. And these people were somewhat quiet, and Trump just gave them a major voice to like be like bolsterous and like the audacity to today again. I haven't been following at all. I've been very head down, like just doing my thing. But today blew. I didn't expect this today. Like when I got home and I saw this, I was just like, wow. I saw the first 3 minutes of your video, the Facebook Live, Dr. Johnson, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm in. Like, obviously something happened today that's got and then I saw the video, and I'm looking at these images. I'm looking at these guys pointing a gun as this guy is looking through, and they just vandalized and broke through into Congress. Like, that is crazy. You're literally sitting there looking at him and saying, you know what? I'm making this active decision based off of what I see in front of me, right? Your skin to not do this and not pull that trigger. Had that been Brown, guy with the a head wrap, he would have been out. Had that been a black dude with the freaking kufi on, he would have been out. But that image right there to me just like sums it up. You're looking him in the eye, and then you say no.
Dr.
Well,
Johnson.
not only that, they would have shot him in a heinous way in the face, and it would have been celebrated all over media if that would happen.
No charges pressed. No charges would have
It
been
would have
pressed.
been absolutely celebrated, and everybody would have been talking about how heroic the police officers were in the face of that kind of threat. And so that's and the same thing could be perpetuated. You're going to drag that down the hallway. You're going to do that, or the same thing could be perpetuated when you think about the Kyle Rittenhouse nonsense, where this dude murders people in the streets of Kenosha, Wisconsin, and walks by the police officers with an AR-15 or AR-17, whatever it is, and nothing happens.
Today was that at scale for me. That at
So
scale.
if you didn't believe it before,
that into
you
like
didn't believe it before, that's what it is.
I think some wealthy man paid for his bail. Or
$2 million.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, and one of our childhood stars from Silver Spoon donated to his cause as well.
Did he?
Yep.
You know what?
What's the white dude's name? And because you're a little older than me, so you should know all of this. Kellen's not going to know it because he wasn't born. But
I'm like,
remember
no
Alfonso Ribeiro? Remember Alfonso Ribeiro was on that show with the guy from Silver Spoon. I forgot the white Ricky Schroeder.
Ricky Schroeder
was the white boy in that show.
Yeah, yep. Silver Spoon.
And he was a child star in that era of time, and he put up money.
And you went back with that one.
So he showed himself. He showed himself to be who he was, and it's nice. I love when Hollywood folks do that. Like, all right, I'll never support you again. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That video of that white boy shooting that gentleman in the street is very graphic. I actually saw that video today for the first time. That's very graphic. That
you
is
didn't
not.
See that?
That's the first time I've ever seen it. I'm really squeamish with that, so I try to avoid seeing somebody's death. I don't want to see somebody's death, man.
Me neither.
I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. I kind of don't want to see that. That one, I didn't expect it, and it was just like it happened. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That brings me to today again. Today was that on mass scale. People scaling the side of the building. People trying to like get over the gate, actively breaking the windows and not being. There's no consequence. Like, where is the consequence to that? That's the problem, and that's the imaging, because that's what those people are taking from this, right?
They brought incendiary devices too. They brought bombs into the Capitol.
So,
I think two incendiary devices, 2 explosives were found.
So I think this is a very appropriate comment for the perspectives of Black men. It is our responsibility to educate our children about these things because they are seeing it on social media and the internet. This is very important, and I think this is why we are here. This is why we're on Perspectives of Black Men, because we realize that this message needs to be broadcast in our community. And as Dr. Johnson says very well, that message needs to be put in the hands of the people in the community to enforce, because we live in the community. More people have to step up to that responsibility or stop having children.
We got to look. This is, again, we can't look outward for this. We got to look in. We got to turn in, and we got to be turning to us and relying on us and lending a helping hand to someone who's like not taking it well, who's not in a good mental place right now, understanding, being a good listener, because so many people feel like actually have been oppressed, like are feeling bad about like how there's no equality, so we got to take care of our own. So you're 100% right. This is exactly why we do this show. Subscribe if you haven't already, especially those who have children, because explaining this to your kids has got to be so freaking hard. So hard.
And by the way, I miss you guys, man. What's going on, man? We got on here. We jumped right into the fire, man. Happy New Year to you, brothers, man.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Season 2 is gonna come out strong. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that.
let's until next time, dudes. Like we can talk about this all night. Like,
Yeah, I'm about to be glued to my television for the next 2 to 7 hours.
Yeah, I was going to do a night workout, but I'm just not now. I'm going to I'm gonna iron my stuff and kind of get comfortable. I'll probably do a morning workout and kind of double it up. So,
Were you gonna iron your workout clothes? You're gonna iron your
I said I'm
sweatpants?
probably gonna iron my stuff that I'm wearing to work tomorrow. Okay. I think you knew that. I think you knew that. I think you just wanted to be
obnoxious. Okay, he's got a wrinkle in his pants that I can't go in the, especially after
go running. You kidding me? I can't go outside. I'm Dr. J. I can't go outside with a wrinkle in my sweats.
And for season 2, I'm going to be a monster, by the way. So
I love that. I've been at the gym too, kid. Let's go.
So I keep everything under wraps until the spring, and then I'll just be the Incredible Hulk. I'm just letting you know that right now, Divine, just in case.
The only thing I've done in the last 3 weeks is ref a basketball game.
Right, we need to increase that activity level, brother.
I know. I got plantar fasciitis. It's tearing up my whole right leg, bro. It's painful, man.
I'm impressed by your pronunciation of that, so I love that. But yeah, I got you, bro. Just let me know.
Yeah, definitely. It's bad. So let's get that done. So send me a bill too. I'm good for a couple dollars. So don't send me anything crazy though, because I'm not gonna pay it. You have to take me to small claims court.
I'm going to use my insurance. And I just got a new I know this is really TMI on here, but I just got a new insurance. I switched over to another insurance thing, so it gives me a little bit more latitude. I don't have to get referrals and nothing. I can just kind of show up. So I that's like when I want to kind of get my back worked on. I'm you're gonna run it through the insurance. We ain't doing no favors. This ain't gonna be no favors.
Yeah,
you support your.
I'll send you my insurance card, but I gotta go to my primary first though.
For perspectives of Black men, it needs to be understood.
Oh no, I don't. My wife said.
When your friend has a business, you support that business and not look for a hookup. You're not looking for a discount. I don't care if they say, "Come on," blah blah blah. Nope, we're gonna do full price. Because I pay into my insurance, but I'm not paying literally out of pocket for my insurance. So run the card, run it. There you go. And I can go to my primary and get a. I don't think for this particular insurance that I don't need one.
You don't.
I don't even need one. So I'm just going. I don't. That's not you. Not a thing. When you want to support, you support. It's not a support if you're getting a discount.
All right, but hold on a second. Let me give you a good story, okay? So you know Justin Cole, right?
Yeah,
you obviously know Justin Cole because you were you guys were back to back in your time at CW Post. So Justin Cole is an oral surgeon, so I had to get a couple of implants, and my insurance doesn't cover the implants. So Justin Cole, he completed the surgery with. So now I'm getting the crowns taken care of, and I go into the office and they show me the bill of how much it cost to have the implants put in.
You said, give me the hookup.
I said, he will never pay for dinner. Whenever we go out to dinner from now on, Justin will never have to pay for dinner. He saved me like $5,000. Sure, I should have tried to be an oral surgeon. Probably would have never worked out for me, but I mean, shoot. But anyway, all right, guys.
Cole. But yeah,
man.
That's really cool. Wait, that was your teammate? So you got he's a doctor and you're a doctor. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, he graduated the year right.
Yeah, I think they were back to back. So he graduated in 2005 and in 2005, 2006 was your first season.
That's pretty neat. That's still neat. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But just to put a button up on tonight's episode, just look at the images, look at the videos, just way more crazy. Dr. Johnson says, where is the bottom? There is no bottom.
Nope.
I'm praying that there's a bottom. This can't go on.
This is America. That's what this is. This is America, guys. That's it. Like what you see is what you get. Like just look. This is America. That's what it is.
It's crazy. I love you guys. Thanks for venting with me tonight.
Yeah, it's really been cool to get back on here. I don't know when season 2 starts. I don't know when you guys want to do that. I just want to throw that out there. I don't know when that's happening, but
we're gonna make it happen, but we gotta do some planning.
Yeah, that's it. We just gotta do some planning. But you know what? A pop-up or two, when it's necessary. There's nothing wrong with that. So
Nothing
we're
wrong with
here.
that.
We're not going anywhere. Season 2's around the corner. So, but
We
these
go.
electronic devices are very handy. So, but yo, definitely my guys, man, like therapy, my therapy, perspectives of Black men. Love it.
Work.
Love it.
Love
All right,
y'all.
guys.